You ever have one of those days where you think you're just going to enjoy your coffee in peace? Maybe catch up on some emails or just stare out the window for a while, and then, boom, life decides to throw a full-blown circus right onto your front lawn. Yeah, that was me. The day Brenda McLachlan called 911 on me, screaming to the dispatcher that I was this dangerous individual harassing her, maybe even armed and barricaded in my own home. All because I wouldn't let her in for a surprise inspection of my living room curtains. I mean, the gall, right? She came to my door, demanded entry like she was the sheriff in a western, and when I politely told her to get lost, she just about lost her mind. But see, here's the kicker, that calm, patient voice she got on the other end of 911. That was my wife, Sarah. Sarah, who has the patience of a saint, but the strategic mind of a chess grandmaster. And that morning, she decided Brenda was about to get the emergency of a lifetime. Now, living under an HOA is already like tiptoeing through a minefield of made-up rules and surprise fines. When Sarah and I moved into Willow Creek Estates, it all looked so perfect. Manicured lawns, mailboxes lined up like little tin soldiers, that fake sense of peace you see in TV ads. Turns out the place was less about neighborly respect and more about Brenda, the president of the HOA, making herself the warden of our lives. She was in her late 50s, wore pastel suits like it was a religion, and wielded her HOA lanyard like a badge. She'd prowl the sidewalks, peering in windows, inventing new rules when the old ones didn't let her boss folks around. We got a warning once because our hose was visible for, get this, more than 3 hours after watering. And don't even get me started on the email war about our unapproved welcome mat. Sahara sunset, not desert sand. Who can even tell the difference, Brenda, apparently. Now, most folks just put up with her nonsense, kept their heads down, didn't want trouble. Me. I'm stubborn enough to ask for proof. Show me the bylaw, I'd say, and you'd think I'd slapped her across the face. She started focusing on us, checking our house, eyeing our front porch, leaving notes about decorative cohesion, a phrase that still makes me snort. Sarah, who spends her days handling real emergencies as a 911 dispatcher, found Brenda hilarious in a dark kind of way. My crazies have actual crises. She'd joke Brenda's out here losing it over curtain rods. We learned to keep everything in writing. Document, document, document. But no matter how polite we tried to be, Brenda took it as a challenge. She started showing up more, creeping around our porch, poking at potted plants, acting like she owned the place. One time at an HOA meeting, I had the audacity to correct her claim that the association owned the first 5 feet of everyone's driveway. I read the rule out loud. She glared at me like I'd committed heresy. After that, her little inspections got more frequent. I could feel her eyes burning a hole in my back every time I watered the lawn. But that Tuesday, the day of the great curtain crisis, I just wanted to drink my coffee in peace. I hear the doorbell, and there's Brenda, already worked up, mint green pantsuit, practically vibrating with self-importance, clipboard in hand. "I'm here for your scheduled interior ambiance inspection," she says. Scheduled by who I ask, knowing full well nobody scheduled anything. She huffs about it being an official HOA matter demanding to see our living room. Specifically the window treatments and decorative cohesion, she says dead serious. I couldn't help it. I laughed. "Brenda, unless you've got a warrant or an actual bylaw that lets you into my living room, you're not coming in. This is private property. You want in, get it in writing, or talk to my lawyer." The word lawyer makes her flinch, but she digs in, insisting I'm breaking the rules, getting louder. I stay calm, but she starts spinning out, insisting I'm obstructing an official representative, that I'm aggressive, that she feels threatened. Keep in mind, I'm literally leaning on the doorframe, sipping coffee. Finally, Brenda says those fateful words. "If you're going to be uncooperative and hostile, I have no choice but to call the authorities." And honestly, I almost wanted her to because Sarah was probably on shift waiting for a little morning entertainment. So I tell her, "Go ahead. Call. Explain to them you want to inspect my curtain rods." Her face goes beet red. She dials 911, puts on her best performance. He's uncooperative, aggressive, possibly armed, refusing entry. I just wait, watching the drama unfold. From my living room, I can imagine Sarah hearing Brenda's voice, recognizing our address, maybe even putting her coffee down so she doesn't spit it out, laughing. She keeps it professional, asking Brenda all the usual questions, letting her dig her own hole. Is he threatening you? Is there a weapon? Are you in danger? Brenda doubles down, inventing threats, insisting I'm unpredictable, demanding a police presence. Sarah explains, calm as ever, that refusing HOA entry isn't a police emergency, unless there's an actual threat. Brenda isn't having it. She gets more frantic, says she's an officer of the HOA, demands action, claims it's societal breakdown. She even accuses me of harboring non-compliant window treatments with the same gravity you'd use for a bomb threat, as Sarah later put it. By this point, Sarah's documenting every word, letting Brenda escalate. When the officers finally get dispatched because Brenda starts dropping words like barricaded, armed, need, SWAT, the whole thing snowballs out of control. You ever seen a grown woman demand a SWAT team and an airlift because she couldn't look at someone's curtain rods? Neither had I, but Brenda sure tried. So now I'm watching all this unfold from inside, and soon enough the cavalry arrives, sirens blaring, lights flashing, police cars lining the street, neighbors poking their heads out. Brenda puffs up with pride points at my house like she's leading a sting operation. A helicopter circles overhead. The fire truck parks down the block. Paramedics stand by, looking around like, what fresh hell is this? Finally, I step outside. Hands up, introduce myself to the sergeant. It's just me, Mark Harrison. The only barricade is my cold coffee. The officer's got this look like he's already regretting his life choices. Brenda tries to command the scene, telling the officers I'm a menace, demanding they secure the perimeter. The sergeant asks to see my living room. I offer him a look from the doorway. No arsenal, no hostages, just a couple of questionable throw pillows and my dog snoring on the couch. Brenda's still ranting, but the officers are starting to see through it. One of them even reads off her 911 requests, SWAT Special Forces, and airlift. I can barely keep a straight face. Then the fire chief strolls over, reminds her that helicopters and fire trucks aren't free, and asks if she's prepared to foot the bill for this little adventure. Brenda sputters, insists she was threatened that I broke the rules. But the real kicker, Sarah's notes. Every wild thing Brenda said, every demand for tactical response logged and time-stamped. The officers inform her calmly but firmly that she's likely facing a hefty bill for misuse of emergency services, possibly even charges for filing a false report. The neighbors, who'd all come out to see the show, start whispering, "All this for curtains." Mrs. Henderson, bless her heart, shakes her head and goes back inside. The fallout was delicious. Brenda got slapped with fines, was cited for abusing emergency services, and after an emergency HOA meeting, booted from her throne as president. The city even made her personally responsible for any costs the HOA had to cover. Her little ambiance mandate vanished, never spoken of again. My curtains stayed up, my finials got even more ridiculous, and Sarah never once broke protocol. She just let Brenda walk herself into disaster. The best part, Brenda knew, or at least guessed, that the calm voice on 911 had been Sarah, but she couldn't prove anything. And even if she could, Sarah had played it by the book. She just made sure Brenda got exactly what she'd asked for, down to the last blinking light and spinning helicopter blade. So Willow Creek got a little quieter. The flowers got a bit brighter, people relaxed, and my welcome mat stayed stubbornly Sahara sunset. And if you're stuck with your own HOA, Karen, remember sometimes the best way to handle a bully is to let them call for help. Just make sure you know who's picking up the phone. Now I gotta ask, have you ever seen an HOA go totally off the rails like this? Drop a comment, share your stories, because I know I'm not the only one out here fighting the good fight for curtain freedom.